Welcome, my dear masters, my dear gods, and my dear friends, for yet another edition of Thinking and Destiny by Harold Waldwin Percival. I have with me two speakers, Girija Rajan and Purnima, who will also be taking part in today's episode. Yesterday we had dealt with the body, and the highlight of the whole session yesterday was Percival's statements that, quote, you should know that you are not your body. You should know that your body is not you. You should know this because when you think about it, you realize that your body is very different today from what it was when in childhood you first became conscious of it. Unquote. So, having seen what the body is and how the body is distinct from us, let us try to understand what Percival repeatedly refers to and discusses about, and that is the triune self. The triune self consists of the doer in the body and the thinker and the knower separate from the body. So I go on to read the selected and chosen messages by Brahmashri Pitamaha Patriji from this book. These are important to understand what Percival really meant any spiritual seeker to understand and know when he is on the way to enlightenment. So I continue with the reading, after which we'll have a discussion. As you become more and more under the control of your body senses, you become less and less conscious that you are something distinct from the body that you occupy. And as you grow out of childhood, you will lose touch with practically everything that is not perceptible to the senses or conceivable in terms of the senses. You will be mentally imprisoned in the physical world, conscious only of phenomena, of illusion. Under these conditions, you are necessarily a lifelong mystery to yourself. A greater mystery is your real self, that greater self which is not in your body, not in or of this world of birth and death, but which, consciously immortal in the all pervading realm of permanence, is a presence with you through all your lifetimes, through all your interludes of sleep and death. Man's lifelong search for something that will satisfy is in reality the quest for his real self, the identity, the selfness and the I-ness with each one is dimly conscious of and feels and desires to know. Hence, the real self is to be identified as self knowledge, the real though unrecognized goal of human seeking. It is the permanence, the perfection, the fulfillment which is looked for but never found in human relations and effort. Further, the real self is the ever present counselor and judge that speaks in the heart as conscience and duty, as rightness and reason, as law and justice, without which man would be little more than an animal.
Thank you very much, Rajan sir, for having expressed those words. Very fantastic revelation by our great spiritual master Percival. We all know, as part of the Pyramid Spiritual Society's movement for the past 23 years, we have been hearing Patriji telling us that this entity that enlivens this body as a machine to live on this earth is known as the Atman. It is widely known it is, its equivalent is soul in English language, and he says this entity is the consciousness, the energy and wisdom part. These three, the wisdom, consciousness and energy together forms the Atman. But Percival goes a step ahead to describe the consciousness from which everything has come out. The consciousness, he says, is divided into three parts, and he calls that as the triune self. The triune self has got one doer part which comes onto the earth to do the things, to make the body do the things that is essential for our living. So, the doer is separate from the other two parts which are known as the thinker and the knower. He says they are in another permanent realm of being, and they are immortal all the time. So, they are all the time they will be, that is what Percival says. And our man's quest always is to find out what he is, who he is, and what is his purpose of living here. And Percival goes on to say that the only and the most important purpose of every human's life is only to find out his own self. He is conscious dimly about it, but never is able to completely recognize it, completely know of it, completely be conscious of the consciousness. That is the truth that is there on this earth. But by listening to great masters, by reading many books and hearing the experiences of others, yes, our knowledge builds up, and definitely the wisdom will one day or the other bloom from within, and we will be able to be conscious of that great consciousness from which the entire cosmos has come into being.
Thank you, Mrs. Girjarajan. Hello, friends. So, this paragraph is wonderful. I would like to add some more points. So, here he says that we are actually not fully aware of who we are, and the purpose of our life is to find out who we are completely. We are not completely aware of who actually we are, because we now are thinking that we are only the body. But I think meditators and PSS masters would have known a little more than the general people outside, because Patriji has been giving us such messages and giving us that knowledge that we are not only the body. So we know a little more of ourselves, but we should also enhance our knowledge. That is what this book is trying to give that message. Percival is trying to give that message that we should go into deeper states to get that knowledge. So that is one thing. From in this paragraph particularly, it is written that way, that our life purpose is to find out who we are. And in the next line, he actually says that we should be more conscious of our the inner voice that comes to us, that is our rightness, that is we should act according to our dharma, and also the reasoning capacity of what is wrong and what is not wrong, what is truth and what is untruth. So I think meditators will have that clear voice inside ringing into them every time they take a step. It will be there. So you should, I think, pay more attention to that voice, and because that is the only thing, he says, which makes us a little different from a little above the animals. Animals don't have conscience actually. So we are the ones who should be actually listening to that more often and taking the right steps according to the dharma. So that is what I would like to add here. I think we can go on to the next paragraph now.
Thus, by thinking, you come to regard yourself no longer as a body bearing a name and certain other distinguishing features, but as the conscious self in the body. The conscious self in the body is called in this book the doer in the body. The doer in the body is the subject with which the book is particularly concerned. You therefore will find it helpful, and as you read the book, to think of yourself as an embodied doer, to look upon yourself as an immortal doer in a human body. As you learn to think of yourself as a doer, as the doer in your body, you will be taking an important step toward understanding the mystery of yourself and of others. You are aware of your body and of all else that is of nature by means of the senses. It is only by means of your body senses that you are able at all to function in the physical world. You function by thinking. Your thinking is prompted by your feeling and your desires. Your feeling and desiring and thinking invariably manifest in bodily activity. Physical activity is merely the expression, the exteriorization of your inner activity. Your body, with its senses, is the instrument, the mechanism which is impelled by your feeling and desire. It is your individual nature machine.
So, Percival has clearly said that we are not at all the body. Even the previous episode, we have come to know that what he says is very, very clear, and he says that as the body is undergoing so many changes every second, there is a split second, there is a change in the body. So, how can we say that it is that? Because there is no uncertainty, it keeps on changing. So, we cannot say that we are the body. So, who are we? What are we? That is a question that is asked by every individual. We know dimly that we are not the body, but yet we have not paid that much attention or given much thought about it to know that we are not the body and that we are the essence that is enlivening the body or making the body active and alive. That is what is the doer. That part is known as the doer in the body. He calls that part which activates the body, that part is known as, that part of the consciousness is known as the doer in the body. So, now with the doer, how does the doer function? It functions through the feelings and desires. So, the feelings and desires, they prompt the thoughts to come out, and then we are creating those thoughts, it comes into action. It comes into it's thrown out to the world through our words and our actions. That is how people come to know us, by our words and our actions. So, even our speech is one form of action only. So, everything comes out as action. So, through the doer doing all this from behind, unseen and unknown, that entity is we. We don't understand. With the help of the knower and thinker who are somewhere else, they are in some other permanent realms, they have not come onto the earth, yet the doer performs exceedingly well, making the body work the whole lifetime. So, we should understand this very clearly before we move on. So, we are the doer in the body. So, that is what we should understand first of all very clearly.
Here she has made the point that we are the doer in the body. So I feel that is also the doer in the body is our Atman, I would call, or a part of our mind, because we have come to the physical level. So Patriji says, that mind is the Atman in the body. So as we develop our mind, the doer part gets more and more more conscious of who actually we are, and every step we take will be more and more, we will be taking with a lot of awareness, So that is what he means here. So we should know more about this. I think in the coming pages and paragraphs, we will know who we are more and more.
Your senses are living beings, invisible units of nature matter. These start forces that permeate the entire structure of your body. They are entities which, though unintelligent, are conscious as their functions. Your senses serve as the centers, the transmitters of impressions between the objects of nature and the human machine that you are operating. The senses are nature's ambassadors to your court. Your body and its senses have no power of voluntary functioning, no more than your glove through which you are able to feel and act. Rather, that power is you, the operator, the conscious self, the embodied doer.
Is excellently given by Mr. Percival, that we are not the body, we are not the machine, we are the operating force, that is the energy that really makes the body function. And how do we come to know about the objects of nature? Objects of nature are outside. So, how do we come to know about that, about all of them? It is the units of nature which are known as the senses. So, Percival says only through the senses we are able to know all this, the outside world, perceive the outside world and know about them through smell, through hearing and through taste. We come to know by seeing. So, by all these functions of the senses, we are able to know so many things. But the senses, do they have any intelligence? No, they do not have any intelligence by themselves. They are just operating one mechanism which is able to convey the message, that is all. It is only convey the message to the human machine. And finally, it has to go to the doer only, back to the doer, and to understand and to assimilate all that. So, it is the doer plays a very, very important part, and that the doer is ourselves. That is what we should understand. So, we should put ourselves there in the doer part, and we are being helped by the body machine and the senses in order to understand the outside world and to understand about so many things and go through the experiences and receive all that. The doer receives everything, all the experiences through these senses. So, it is a complex mechanism, no doubt, but it is not very difficult to understand also. At the same time, it is quite easy to understand if you only throw some thought on it. So, if we seriously think about all these things, definitely we are going to find out that we are the doer in the body. That is what Percival says.
Here I would like to add some more light onto this para. He also mentions that it is like we have already seen in computer language, I would like to tell, we program something and that's done. It's just like that. So our mind is programmed, and that's how we see what we are seeing, that because we have already seeing something, because we've already programmed what to see. So it's already there within us. We have programmed it. Our mind is like whatever we are seeing is already given to us. That input is already given. So what we are seeing or what we are experiencing has already been programmed by us. So we should know where we are programming that. That happens with a no mind state. To go to where we have put the input, we need to go into a no mind state. That will happen in meditation. So I think that is what I inferred from this. So what the senses are mere what do you call the output
The conveyors.
the device or output device, which is already acting out what has been put.
On sleep. Without you, the doer, the machine cannot accomplish anything. The involuntary activities of your body, the work of building, maintenance, tissue repair, and so forth are carried on automatically by the individual breathing machine as it functions for and in conjunction with the great nature machine of change. This routine work of nature in your body is being constantly interfered with, however, by your unbalanced and irregular thinking. The work is marred and nullified to the degree that you cause destructive and unbalancing bodily tension by allowing your feelings and desires to act without your conscious control. Therefore, in order that nature might be allowed to recondition your machine without the interference of your thoughts and emotions, it is provided that you shall periodically let go of it. Nature in your body provides that the bond which holds you and the senses together is at times relaxed, partially or completely, and this relaxation or letting go of the senses is sleep.
So now we have seen that we are the doer in the body. We make the body work for us, and the senses are there to convey everything to us. Our feelings and our desires are there. They prompt the thinking part, and everything is in place, everything is going on. Can it go on like that? No, it is impossible, because the machine needs a rest. Isn't that so? It cannot go on like that. It needs repairs, renewals, everything has to be done. So for that, the nature has given a boon to the entire humanity, the entire cosmos, all the living beings. They periodically go into a state of relaxation, that which we call as sleep. So in sleep, what happens? The bodily mechanism, the senses are all cut off for a short time. So the doer also cuts off from this system and goes out of the body, and so that the body gets enough rest during sleep, because it is very much needed. Otherwise it can go on, and the machine will become very soon it will meet a breakdown. It will end up with a breakdown. So it is not possible to go on like that. So that is why we have been given a boon. Periodically we should have that rest which we call as sleep. In that period the whole body is being repaired. We get the activity is lessened, and in fact sometimes we don't have any activity at all when we go into deep sleep state. So that way we are able to again regain the same body, and with lot of changes. Of course, the nature is providing lot of changes. Every time it repairs, there are a lot of changes that is happening. With all the changes and repairs and renewals, the body again becomes ready to function one more day. Like that, each day passes with lot of sleep, repairs and renewals. How wonderfully the system works, and the doer is able to do all that. He is in control of the things there. So even during sleep, even though the doer is not there in the body, he is able to be in full control of the body systems that is going on, because the heart has to work, the lung has to work, everything has to, the internal organs have to work. So everything has to be controlled and to be monitored, and that is being done by the doer in the body. Even though doer is out of the body during sleep, the doer is in charge of the entire system. So that is what Percival exactly tells us. So why we should understand all these things. Not only understand, we should know that we are the doer in the body. We are that, not this physical body. That is what our Vedas also have told. So to get that understanding, yes, we should know how the mechanism goes on. So minutely every detail has been explained by our great master Percival. So whatever I have understood from here, from this passage that was read out, I am telling you.
Yes, friends. So here he mentions about sleep. Such a wonderful thing it is, because so beautifully this has been planned by our own selves to have a beautiful earth life. So in physical plane, you see, we actually, in other books they say that we in sleep we come out of our physical body, that is astrally we come out, though we are not conscious of it. So when we are out of the body, we get lot of energy, and our physical system also gets rejuvenated. So it's such a beautiful system. So I think other points have been covered here. So every part of our how this whole mechanism works, he's giving. So sleep is one part. So that has also been covered. So let us look into other parts.
I would
think.
like to add a few points, few more points here. See, when a person is sick, unwell, what the doctor gives a medicine, and the medicine goes and works. What does it do? Most of the medicines, they contain something called as the sleeping dose, tranquilizer. Why they do so? Because only during sleep the mind, which is the doer in the body, that is relaxed, that is removed from this system, this active system which has been actively thinking, doing everything. So all those things were there. So the activity is reduced to a very minimal extent, and then the doer comes out of the body, stays out. So during the medicine works like that. So even without knowing all these details, the modern science has been able to find out that sleep really helps us, helps the body to get rejuvenated, to be repaired, and renewals are necessary for the body. So naturally everything happens, natural forces also act upon it, and then the changes are happening in the body. So the senses are also cut off, it needs rest. So that is why the tranquilizers are being administered in patient's body. In hospital we see that. So day to day we see that without knowing what is happening during that time. So with Percival's knowledge, yes, we can understand whatever is being done to the human beings when they are sick. So from here we can understand so many things. So like that we are able to understand all the things that we can relate to our daily life, and then we can try to understand in a better manner.
I would like to add one more thing, that other than the body and the mind which get rest rather, deep sleep is a state in which each person withdraws himself, and not only that, even the senses are out of touch with the sense. You are out of touch with the body is not out of touch with the senses, and so the sleep gives a complete relaxed position and a comfortable rest for the body. So there's one more para, and I would read that for the benefit of our masters. While your body sleeps, you are out of touch with it. In a certain sense, you are far away from it. But each time you awaken your body, you are immediately conscious of being the self-same I that you were before you left your body in your sleep. Your body, whether awake or asleep, is not conscious of anything ever. That which is conscious, that which thinks, is you yourself, the doer that is in your body. This becomes apparent when you consider that you do not think while your body is asleep. At least if you do think during the period of sleep, you do not know or remember when you awaken your body senses what you have been thinking.
So it is a very great explanation given by our Percival, and what he says is that we have to come out of the body periodically in order to give rest and replenish the body, so that it can live a long life without any difficulty, without less of pain and less of diseases. So to repair the body periodically, nature has given us a great boon called sleep. So that is being done by this doer. But think of the doer. When the doer he is inside the body, he is very much conscious. But the body is not conscious of that. Body is not conscious of the doer. Body is not conscious of anything. Only the doer makes it conscious. So doer is conscious about everything. So when he comes out and goes inside, during sleep he comes out, and after sleep he again enters the body. The doer enters the physical body. At that time, the personality, the identity does not change. The person is the same before sleep and is the same after sleep also. So, the personality, the particular identity, if nothing changes. Isn't that so? We are the same persons. We sleep, but are we changed? Our attitudes are changed, our mentality is not changed. The same person, nothing is changed. So, everything, our attitude, our personality, our thinking, our understanding, everything remains entirely intact during sleep also. So, and after sleep they come into our knowledge, we are conscious of that. So, that personality remains intact. For that, the sleep does not affect that personality, that we should understand. So, which is the personality? That the personality is that which is held by the doer, that is outside the body during sleep. That we have to clearly understand, and if we understand that, definitely we start thinking of us as the doer in the body. Then as we understand that, our words will come out as if we are the doer in the body, not the body itself. We will not address anything in terms of the body, we will address from the terms of the doer. So, that is how we have to change ourselves, so that we will become conscious of the great consciousness, that which we are part of and that which we are. We are also the consciousness that is there, available everywhere in the whole cosmos.
The more we become aware of the doer in the body, our words will be only in line or in alignment with spiritual science. That is what I feel. The more conscious we are, only spiritually scientific words will come out of our mouth.
Truth.
Only truth will come out of our mouth. So it's I think we should all be addressing ourselves more, that we are knowing that, more conscious of who we are every time we utter a word, or every time we should be in all times we should be aware and be conscious of the doer in the body.
Yes, the fact that we are that great energy, consciousness and wisdom part, not this mere physical body. That's what we should understand. That too, during this period, it's very important to understand, so that we'll, even if a person leaves the body, vacates the body, we'll understand only the machine is gone. The personality always remains. The Atman always remains. It cannot be destroyed. It cannot be created. It is there always, all the time. During sleep, before sleep, during sleep and after sleep. During life, after death and before birth, and after birth also. Like that it goes on. So, this cycle is going on, but the doer is the same. So, that is what we should understand very clearly. Now, as we have all discussed, we will start addressing ourselves as, and think that we are the doers first of all, and then start speaking from those terms, so that we will be able to be conscious of the truth so very easily and fantastically, and that is going to remain with us. That is really the realization. Self-realization means the realizing the truth, that we are not the body, we are the great Atmans.
And when we realize this thing, that we are the Atman, I think our purpose of life will be served. Yeah. And we can get back to the realm of permanence happily. Realm of permanence is nothing but Satyaloka.
Yeah. So, with these words, I think we have come to the end of the session today. And so, we will again meet in another session. So, till then, thank you from three of us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.